What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, without a hat. A little special preview for you guys today, but I'm excited. I'm excited to come on here and talk to you guys about the upcoming game, which I hope a lot of you guys are relatively excited for. I know that I am, and it's the game this weekend against Bielefeld. So I guess without further ado, we'll see who can check into today's little match preview, and we'll discuss some lineups. We'll discuss, obviously, the really past game that they played together earlier this season, as well as what it means to the table. So, without further ado, we will take a look at the league table right now. And as you see, we are sitting in 6th place in what has to be a huge, huge weekend, mainly because I don't see Wolfsburg or, honestly, Frankfurt slowing down anytime soon. You see Borussia Dortmund sitting there in 6th place. We are 6 points out of a top 4 spot, and these wins need to start piling up. We are on a good little run of results. We've done, honestly, 2 fantastic games against Sevilla, as well as Schalke, building a little bit of steam. But we're in a position right now where we need to win, and we need to pray that the teams in front of us slow down. So we'll take a look at that, and we are right now in 6th place with 11, 3-8 record, while the 2, if not 3 teams in front of us that we are targeting there are a little bit in front, where Arminia is sitting down in a relegation battle, sitting in 16th place with 18 points. And it's a little scary taking on someone who's fighting for their lives, because they'll do anything that they can to just sneak out a point. And they're in a position to do that. Looking at some of the other games around the league, we got to really hope that some of these results actually start going our way. So it starts off Friday. It starts off Friday with Frankfurt and the Bremen game. And we just got to sit and pray that Bremen takes this game on and can hopefully get some points for us, because someone's got to stalk Frankfurt if we're going to want any chance of moving on to the Champions League. With the other games going on, obviously we want to see Dortmund win. It is why we're here, but some other big results that could happen is potentially Hertha hopefully taking down Wolfsburg and giving us a little bit of breathing room, and then obviously Leipzig taking down Gladbach, just really giving us some fight for that top 4. And then, of course, looking on the Sunday games, there's not any that really matter except for maybe Freiburg taking a couple points from Leverkusen. But all in all, it's been a pretty important weekend for us, and I'm hoping that we can do something to close that gap and really start looking to push for a top 4 position. If we look to our head-to-head, we see that we obviously had a 2-0 win earlier in the season. If we dive into that matchup, that was a matchup where Hummels hit a brace. We didn't have Haaland in this matchup, and it was a game that I was relatively nervous about. But all in all, that was a team that we went with. It was a 4-2-3-1 at the time. Marco Reus obviously started up front, had an alright game. I thought Julian Brandt really had a strong game in that center attacking mid position. And then, of course, Hummels with the brace was a nice little touch on there. So we see in the comments we have CM Punk here. CM Punk, how are you doing today? Hits 2023. Yes, that is it. That is a pretty big piece of information that dropped today. I think that is honestly alluding to the fact that Roman Bürki's future at the club is a little uncertain right now. Hitz is coming in. He'll more than likely be the backup going forward, with, of course, the starter, whoever it may be, being brought in to honestly replace Bürki. And Bürki, I'm assuming, will be on his way out. I don't know, but from what the signing of Hitz is telling me is that Bürki isn't going to settle for a number 2 position, and that, honestly, someone is probably going to come in and replace him. But Hitz will be net, and I'll give you guys my started lineup. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it, but Josh's game is probably the most important game of the season. If we win comfortably, we will be out of the crisis, but if we lose, Champions League is out, and we'll get penetrated by Bayern. It is an important game, and it absolutely is an important game, mainly because it's a bit of a roll we're on right now, with a couple of big performances against Sevilla and Schalke, and we need to follow it up against these Bielefeld games. A lot of these games against teams like Bielefeld can honestly bite us in the butt, and sometimes it just doesn't happen the way that we want it to. So hopefully we can go out there strong. I'll give you guys my predicted little starting 11. We don't have Producer T, so in case you don't notice, it's a little bit different of a layout. I'm doing my best. Producer T is on a well-deserved little holiday right now, so he won't be with us for the weekend, but you know what? You still got me, and I thought I'd not wear a hat to give some of you guys a little bit of excitement, but that's okay. That's why, a little different, but we wish Producer T all the best on his holiday, and he will be back sometime on Sunday. But I'm going to go into my predicted starting 11, and I'm assuming it's going to be, honestly, probably a 4-2-3-1, but I don't want it to be. I would like to see them go with the 4-3-2-1, and hear me out. I know that having the extra attacker, making it a 4-2-3-1, is against a team like Bielefeld should lead to more chances. I get that. But when it comes to defending, it can be our Achilles heel because we need that extra body in the midfield. And every time we play with a 4-2-3-1, usually he's ever playing out on that wing, whether that be Brandt or whether that be Reyna, usually don't have a very good game. And it's just kind of pointless to have them there. So for me, the front three, whether that be Sancho, Royce, Haaland, they can create enough on their own that it just makes sense. Doesn't matter if the team is a Bielefeld or a Bayern. We should go with the three-man midfield. So I would love to see the 4-3-2-1, even though I have a feeling we'll probably see the 4-2-3-1. So I'll tell you what it's going to probably look like. It's going to have hits and net. Just signed a brand new deal. Of course it's going to be. Right back, I'm assuming Meunier is going to break in. I know Marai's been on a bit of a roll, but I mean, he's back. He's healthy. I think this is the game that Meunier is going to come into. With Chan and more than likely Hummels as our center backs, with Kanji having that knock. Guerrero will be on our left back. The three central midfielders, which I hope we do in the 4-3-2-1, would be obviously Dahoud, my man, and Bellingham again with his pressing game, and then probably Delaney in there. And then the same three up front, Royce, Sancho, and Haaland. But if it's not that, and it is a 4-2-3-1, I'm assuming either Dahoud or Jude would miss out, which would be unbelievably annoying if I see that Dahoud misses out. But in all honesty, it would probably be Dahoud, who, if we went to the 4-2-3-1, it would be Dahoud who didn't make it. It'd be probably Bellingham. It'd be Delaney as the CDMs, Royce as our center attacking mid, Sancho on the left, and then take your pick between Brandt and Reyna on the right, probably Reyna, and then up front is Haaland. And I just don't like it. I want to see the 4-3-2-1 going forward. The extra body in the midfield completely changes the way this team plays. And like I said, whoever plays on that side has done almost nothing all year long. They've rarely had a good game because that's not their natural position. So that's what I would like to see. Who do you want us to play in the quarters based on the current round of 16 results? I don't know. I'm trying to think of who would be the weakest opponent. I don't know exactly who it. I mean, we can take a little peek. We can take a little peek over at the Champions League, see where it is, and I'll try to answer that question for you, but I don't know. So taking a look, Liverpool's not in great form, so maybe them. I wouldn't want to play PSG. If Porto moves on, I would want to play Porto. That would be hilarious. And if Porto moves on, then 100% Porto. Wouldn't really want to play Madrid, City. I'd maybe take on Chelsea. I don't have a lot of faith in them. So yeah, either Chelsea, probably the winner of either Atletico or Chelsea. If not, maybe Liverpool, because I'm not overly confident that they'll figure their stuff out. And then best case scenario, Porto is who I'd want to take on. Hello, Josh. What is going on, other Josh? Or Joshua Kimmich. This happened when we won against Leipzig and everyone got excited, and then we're going to win the league, and we know what happened. Yeah, we're not going to win the league. We're still many points away from even a Champions League position, but we need to start picking up these points to progress and hopefully go for a top 4 finish. They must play a 3-1-4-2 formation with 6 attackers. I'm not sure if you're talking about Bielefeld or you're talking about Dortmund. I'm not sure. If we take a look at the last time we actually played Bielefeld, you'll see that I believe they played with wingbacks, and I think they normally play in the 4-2-3-1 of late. We'll take a look at how they actually lined up against us in the upcoming or the previous match we played them. And if you go to it, we obviously won 2-0 away, which was a huge result. But yeah, they kind of lined up in that 3-3-2-2, very awkward formation. I think they'll probably play something similar before a 4-2-3-1. I totally agree we need an extra midfield to prevent counterattacks. Yep, this is my number one and most important thing, I think. Delaney and Dahoud is a good combo. 100% is. Otherwise, play a 2-7-2 formation with 7 midfielders. Okay. I don't like Reyna. I like Gio. It just he's not playing well in the wings. We should avoid the 4-2-3-1 till Hazard's back. Couldn't agree with you more. Don't assume we are going through. Well said. Well said. It's definitely still a huge tie. If you don't sell Reyna, sell him to Bayern. We are not selling anyone else to Bayern. Whoa, hatless Josh. Producer T is not here, man. He's on holiday, so I thought I'd give you guys a little hatless Josh, I guess, for a little preview here. Play a 1-1-4-4 Dortmund. No, I'm hoping we go with the 4-3-2-1. Like I said, it's the best full-rounded lineup for what we have. I still think that front three, is just they're talented enough to cause problems to anyone. And when even in that front four, Reyna and Brandt usually do nothing. So what's the point of continually starting them out on the wings where they're not comfortable, they don't make an impact? Go with the three-man midfield, close up those counterattacks, and just hope the front three can fire, which is totally my opinion. Josh, when gonna see a new haircut? We'll see. We'll see if I go for a new haircut. I don't know. Is Zeg back for the Bielefeld game? This is the perfect opportunity to bring them in and give Renier some minutes. I don't know. I doubt, honestly, none of those three I can almost promise you will not start. Definitely not Renier. I mean, he's not fancied. I don't believe Zagadou or Hazard will be forced to come right back into the starting 11. But I honestly don't know exactly what it's going to be. They're both kind of touchy, but within the next few weeks, I think they both will be able to come back on the bench. I don't want to see Mo on the bench again. I know, but I honestly, neither do I, but I have a feeling that if there is a player to be sacrificed, if we go to a 4-2-3-1, it'll be Dahoud, and it'll piss me right off. We need players like Dahoud who will take long shots against a team like Bielefeld that sits back a lot. Well said. That's a very good point, and honestly, there's one player who can go for those long shots. It's 1,000% Dahoud. There's no one else who can really do it in our midfield. I don't think Jude's quite got the confidence to pull something like that off yet, so yeah, I don't know, man. I absolutely want to see Dahoud in. Why pull Tigges up if he never plays? I just think for experience, for having a body, but I mean, I agree he probably won't play. The only time I could ever see really Tigges getting an opportunity coming off the bench is if we're losing in a game and we need some aerial balls and bring on a tall man. Other than that, man, I honestly don't think that he'll be coming in. I think he'll just sit on the bench, kind of like Renier. Don't play Zagadou, he'll get injured again. I don't think, honestly, Hazard or Zagadou will start even when they're fit. I think they're going to work the way in because they're both coming off relatively tough injuries. Josh, what do you think about the Henderson rumor? I don't like it. I stated on Twitter quite a bit. I think it's a poor decision if we go for this. You guys heard Premier League tax. That's exactly what it is for Henderson. He will cost a lot of money, first off. And even if he comes to Dortmund and does successful for a season or two, he's just going to head right back to the Premier League. There's no way he's going to stay in the Bundesliga for a long term. That's why I don't like going really for English players. I mean, I love, obviously, Sancho and Bellingham, and I'm excited to have him there, but there's a huge opportunity that sooner rather than later, a Premier League club is going to come and sniffing in for them, and that's exactly what happened to Henderson. I want to see someone like Tchaikovsky, young, talented, can build a future, could easily be for Dortmund's starter for the next 5+ years, where for Henderson, for the money we're going to pay for him, for the fact that he may only be here a couple months, and then the biggest thing, I don't want to deal with United. After we basically played hardball with Sancho, they're not going to sell us Henderson for cheap, so I think there's much better alternatives elsewhere. That's just my personal opinion. I don't get the issue with Renier. He's a great talented, almost had a goal and assist in 8 or 10 minutes against Schalke. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just one of those things where I don't really like developing loanees, because for me, what's the point? What's the point of giving Renier all this time just to, give him back to Madrid? Why not start Tigges instead of Renier? That's just, I don't know. Josh, we should start Zag for the Mainz game, and things haven't been good. Yeah, I mean, that's a team, like someone in probably the bottom 5 is where I'd like to get Zagadou back in if we have the opportunities to put him in there. I think we should try putting Guerrero in midfield. He would also be good with taking long shots. He could be, but again, we found something that works. It's a 4-3-2-1. So, I mean, in my opinion, that's what we have to do going forward. I don't like the 2-man midfield anymore. It doesn't work, and I just think it's a no-brainer. And we saw even going back against Schalke, the worst team in the league. We went to the 4-2-3-1, and still, Brandt, completely useless. Reyna, when he comes on, very ineffective. They have to go into the 4-3-2-1 for the main reason of that midfield just changes the look of the team. And when you have, like I said, a player of Brandt or Reyna's quality playing out on the wings in a position they're not very comfortable with, it's just kind of frustrating. It's just like, what's the point? I think Royce and Sancho act much better just under the striker instead of having the 3-man front 3 on the attacking mids with Holland up front. That's just, again, man, that's just totally my opinion, and I hope that they do that, but wouldn't surprise me if Terzic does go with the 4-2-3-1. Knopf. I would like to see Ansgar get a little shot. He's doing some phenomenal things with our U23 team. Tigges is great in the previous team, scored, and seems unfair for his development. Yes, but a lot of you guys may not realize that even though he doesn't come off the bench for Dortmund, he still plays the U23 games. He'll sit on the bench for the Borussia Dortmund game, and then if he doesn't play or only plays 5 to 10 minutes, he still plays that weekend for the U23s. So he is still getting a ton of game time, still getting a lot of minutes over the weekends, but you're right. I would like to see him maybe come in a little bit earlier off the bench and see what he can do up in the Bundesliga. Josh, with Hitz now extending his contract and BBB looking for a new goalkeeper, is Berkey's future over with us? I'd say yeah. I'd say that's a huge indication that Hitz is going to be our backup goalie going forward. Berkey's not going to settle for a second or third string position. He's going to want to start. He'll get flipped somewhere, and then we'll hopefully bring in someone like Drakovsky or something like that. So yeah, I don't think it's looking too good for Berkey's future right now. A loan should be only if they bring a lot to the table like Hakimi. Very true. Yeah, you couldn't not start Hakimi, but it did sting to lose him. I'm more afraid of Arminia than I am for Bayern right now. I mean, like I said, when you're in a relegation battle, you fight to the death. So this Arminia game's not going to be as straightforward as it looks. I like that we're the home team. I like that we got a big result against them when we were away, and I like the form we're in. So I am relatively confident, but I totally agree that it's not as straightforward as it looks. Mukuku can shoot long-range screamers, right? You can, but it's. I mean, still, he's still progressing to the Bundesliga. So I mean, just because he does it at another level doesn't mean he can quite do it at the Bundesliga yet. But he is known for some nice long-range shots. My biggest flex is that Loney broke my heart. Yep, Hakimi broke all of our hearts. I think we should try the 4-3-2-1 with Dahoud, Delaney, Bellingham, and maybe a front two behind. And we can try Reina and Sancho. You nailed it. I don't know if you just joined the stream, but yeah, 100% I agree with you. It has to be. It has to be. And the main reason, like a lot of people think the 4-2-3-1 would be good against teams who probably won't have a lot of the ball, it's because you have an extra attacker out there. You have your Brandt, you have your Reina, but they don't do anything. They never do anything when you play in a 4-2-3-1. It's always... I saw a funny little article, and it had the ratings for everyone, and it's always that right midfield position, which is either Brandt, it's either Reina, and usually their player ratings, it's the imposter. They don't match the rest of the team. I thought it was funny, but it's totally true. So what's the point of rocking that formation when you can be vulnerable when it comes to from counterattacks, when you can just plug in Dahoud. Dahoud can still go forward. He can go for those long range shots, and then you have a much more, honestly, comfortable front three when you have either Sancho, you can put Reina there, you can put Brandt there, you can put Royce there, and then Haaland up front. It just, I would be a little shocked and a little annoyed if we do see a 4-2-3-1. Guerrero just isn't a defender, in my opinion, on our left side. He's been so weak because he puts a lot of effort in. What position do you think fits him? Left mid fits him. Left mid fits him. Our left back fits him. But I mean, it's because that's the formation. We can't really put him anywhere else. We have no one else to really pluck in the left back position. He has to stay there. You're going to see him be successful against teams like Schalke, potentially Arminia, because we're going to have a lot of the ball. He's going to be able to come up, and especially if we play with a three-man midfield, it gives Guerrero all the more reason to go forward. But unfortunately, when we play team potentially like Gladbach, Leverkusen, and Bayern, he can be a little bit vulnerable, but especially on counterattacks with very pacey wingers. But for right now, he has to play as our left back. Simon says, "What's up, man?" Not much. Producer T's on holiday, which is why I gave you guys a little blessing of no hat Josh for the day. As I said for the Schalke match preview, if we can beat Sevilla and if we can beat Schalke, we can beat Arminia. I'm confident. I'm confident too. I'm definitely confident too. Dean Henderson and BBB, what's your opinion? Don't want to see it whatsoever. Would prefer any other goalkeeper in my opinion. He'll cost too much. He'll more than likely just go back to the Premier League in a couple years' time anyways. And I don't want to deal with United. As easy as that. Go for Jakolski. Go for anybody else, in my opinion. You're right, Shane can do a job from outside the box. Yes, he can. Royce instead of Reina, I'm sorry, he's going to have to develop more next season. We can't experiment with consistently inconsistent. It is fair. It is fair. And, I mean, like I said, it depends on the games because Royce isn't going to be able to play everyone. So you're going to have to squeeze in Brandt or Reina in. And that's even putting them in the 4-3-2-1. You'll see a better performance, I promise you, from Brandt and Reina than you would in their usual positions. Hendo to BBB is a bad deal. They want 40 million. Why go for him when Galashi is less than 30? Galashi's honestly, I think I read like 12 to 18. But again, I'd prefer Grzikowski. I'd prefer someone who can honestly get a little bit of minutes in there, develop. I like Galashi, but I don't know. I want someone young. I want someone who's going to be between the sticks for the next 5 to 10 years. And I think Grzikowski's our guy. Josh, don't forget to rest some, my guy. I don't know if Terzic will. He hasn't shown that he's very keen to rest people of late, so we don't have a lot of options, especially in the back, which is why I think Mariah probably will be out in my prediction, which we'll see Meunier in. I don't think he's going to touch the midfield, and then if he's going to rest anyone, I think it's probably going to be Royce, so maybe the front three will be either Reina or Brandt alongside Sancho with Haaland up front, but he's not going to not start Haaland. He's not going to not start Sancho. It's going to be a pretty similar team in my opinion. It'll depend on what he wants to do for the shape. I mean, I haven't seen Reina in the 4-3-2-1 formation yet. Maybe he can do better in a more central role because Reina is almost developed as a winger. I have faith in him. Yeah, he definitely would. And if you remember the 3-4-2-1 formation, it's a similar front three. Two center attacking mids under the striker. Brandt and Reina would be much better in that position. They would be stuck out on the wing, which is why the change in shape is a stroke of genius in my opinion. We should give Schultz a chance. He can be better left back than Guerrero. He looks... I mean, I know is the short answer, but you could potentially put him in to give Guerrero a little bit of rest. But going forward, I mean, Guerrero's our guy, especially in a game like Bielefeld. He'll have the opportunity to run up the pitch. It has to be Guerrero all day. I don't know if I believe that. I think Jakovski's definitely a better keeper, but I would take either one over Henderson in my opinion. BB should never lose to a team like Arminia. They need to stay on a winning streak. I agree, 100%. We'll have to see what we do. But Josh, have you heard between the link between Pulisic and Bayern Munich? I have. I don't believe in it. I don't think that he fits. I mean, maybe if Coleman gets flipped, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to want to leave the Prem anytime soon, but you never know. Thoughts on our Bayern game next week? I'm excited for it, man. I think Bayern's a little bit nervous. I think it's going to be a more open game than it seems, but I mean, we'll go one game at a time. And hopefully we can get a big result against Arminia. But we're going to do one last question here before I wrap it up today. I actually went to click on Eric's, but we'll do two more questions wrapping up today. Paslak, Chan, Hummels, Schultz, Delaney. You can't go with that team, man. And unfortunately, it's a too inexperienced. And honestly, if you started that squad, I think that we'd probably lose. It's too many bodies in there who haven't played enough. Well, I mean, there's no point in resting a keeper. So in that formation, Hitz would be net. You're going to put Marai definitely, or Meunier. I think Meunier, but I wouldn't be against seeing Paslak. That is the same center backs. I don't see Schultz starting anytime soon. I do like your midfield. It's a beautiful midfield, and I do like your front three. But again, it's not going to be Renier. It would be either Reina or it would, of course, it would be Brandt. That's just a little unrealistic, but I know what you mean when it comes to wanting to give some people rest. But yeah, Meunier or Marai. I mean, I'd give Meunier the run of games, but I'd give Marai the run of games because he's on a good form. But I honestly think that Meunier is going to start in the weekend. So yeah, that is it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in for our match preview against Arminia Bielefeld. We will be doing the game, the watch along here on our YouTube channel. So it will look a little bit like this. Producer T is on vacation, so I hope he's enjoying that. And yeah, so it should be fun this weekend. We'll come up for the watch along. Hopefully it'll be a good one. Keep it on a roll, man, because we need to win a few games here to start keeping up with the top four. And we'll be live for our 5 takeaways, for Community 5 takeaways. And I'll play with the setup. I hope this looked relatively okay today, me putting it together without Producer T. But if you guys are new around here, put a comment. Put your in the comments, guys, to get some comments rolling, and put your predicted starting 11. We saw a couple already on screen, and I'll read them comment, and we'll see what Terzic goes with. So guys, if you're new around here, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.